Hello, Ezekiel Garcia here once again at Game on Expo 2016 for guffandstuff.net. I'm here with Vince, CEO. What are you?
I'm the guy that just makes it all happen. I mean, I don't really give a crap about titles, but I guess you'd say I'm kind of the president of the company.
All right, that's good. Also, he is the star of Postal 2. I believe in the first level you meet him, and I also believe he fires you. And he walks around with an M16, so...
Yeah, in Postal 2, we had the actual office of Running with Scissors based in Tucson, and one of the missions is the postal dude comes into the office, thinks he basically has a job, and I pretty much fire his ass right away, and then the rest all breaks loose.
Right. And if I remember correctly, that was the first day on the job, right?
Well, you know how it goes. I think I said something about, that his sister could work under my desk, and...
Okay, and thus the rest is history.
Yes.
Complete with Crotchy, Gary Coleman, and a whole bunch of other hijinks. Also, book burners as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, one of the things in Postal 2 that was most fun, I mean, people ask me a lot about how was it to work with Gary. Seriously, Gary was a great guy to work with. He really was a fun guy. It's a shame that he passed away so young. Gary was actually going to be in the Postal movie, but and I don't really talk about this much, but Gary got sick the summer that we were scheduled to do the shoot up in Vancouver. So that's when we decided, okay, and we brought in Vern Troyer, Mini-Me. So things just have a way of working out. But God rest his soul, Gary was a good guy, and he was a great part of Postal 2.
And more about this movie. It was released around what time?
The movie's about 5 years old. It was only in the theater for 2 weeks. It was considered controversial, no surprise. But, it's a lot of fun. It's a sick film. I mean, it's got nudity, but there's no real sex. I mean, Mini-Me, Vern Troyer gets screwed by 1,000 monkeys, but that's pretty basic.
Right.
Yeah,
and you mentioned earlier at the previous Comic-Con, it's been like a month or so.
Yeah, 2 months ago, right?
I think it was 2 months, yeah.
Shit, amazing. It just flies.
Yeah.
But that was a great show. This is a great show, too.
Yeah, and you mentioned also that you've pretty much made a name for yourself in the industry for, I believe, over 20 years. And where'd you get your start, working with video games?
Well, I personally got started around 1980 with the original Atari. They came to New York, and I was working with them, like more or less what would be considered today like a producer. And then from there, Atari went bust. That was the first time they went bust in video game history. So then I started working on other games, and some of the early games I worked on was Spy vs. Spy for Commodore 64. I worked on the original Ghostbusters for Activision, the very first WWF game with Hulk Hogan, Randy Macho Man, Savage, and then we did a lot of games for a lot of different licenses, Hasbro, Hanna-Barbera, Disney. We moved to Tucson in 92, and around 96 we decided, because publishers never pay you any royalties, no matter what you do, no matter how good your game sells. So what we did was we decided to make our own game, and as a true independent company, we self-funded it, and we created Postal. And that's 20 years ago. Yeah. Pretty wild. Pretty wild.
Yeah, it's so funny because it's like, 20 years ago, that's like what, mid-90s now?
Yeah, I mean, that was 96 and now it's 2016?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Wow. Amazing. I mean, really is amazing.
Yeah. Time flies, and it's like I'm only 24 years old and I already feel old as hell.
Yeah, well, I could be your grandfather. But the funny thing, and if I could have a moment to say this, here at shows like this, one of the best things is you get to meet people. I mean, earlier today, several people, I mean, they're like adults, they're like 30 years old, and they're coming up to me and saying, hey, man, I got in trouble for playing your game. I had to hide the game. My parents hated you. I mean, stuff like that. It's great compliments. I mean, here it is. We're still doing it. And, we really still are to this day an independent developer because we do what we want. We self-fund it. And there's just something special about that. I mean, we're very fortunate. Everyone at Running with Scissors. I've got a great team and now everything is virtual. We've got a lot of guys over in the UK, in the rest of Europe. We have an artist in Japan. We've got somebody in the Middle East. It's an interesting evolution.
Right.
Yeah.
And going back to Postal too, I heard that the Germans definitely loved your game.
Germany just removed all of our games off of Steam 2 days ago. Talk about like Nazi regime coming back again. I don't know what to. I don't know. Censorship sucks, and it's still live today.
But in all seriousness, like, have they let up at all, especially with the new DLC that's come out?
The Germany itself, the country, I don't know. They're a little crazy, Ever since they can never get over that whole Nazi thing from World War II, and it's like people ask me today. Look, I didn't own slaves. My grandparents didn't own slaves, so I don't want to deal with that kind of BS. But there's a lot of great people in Germany. They love our games. I think there's a big difference in societies today. People that are actually part of society, like we are, and then the bullshit politicians that try to shove stuff down our throat. And that's where the hypocrisy is just too much. Even today in our country, the hypocrisy it's so overblown. I mean, people ban our game. Look, GTA 5, Call of Duty, I could go on and on and on. Our games, I don't want to say they're calm or passive, but there's no real difference. I mean, it's just a political statement. We don't have the deep pockets of some of the big publishers. So, bottom line is money pays.
Yeah, easy target too.
Yeah, we're an easy target. Well, the other thing, look, when the industry went before the Supreme Court, when we had that crazy California representative, who wanted to basically ban video games, who's eventually got busted for gun smuggling, if you know that case, thank God. But anyway, the industry used Postal as the flagship title before the Supreme Court, and we won. The industry won. And actually, as part of that case, we sent all 9 justices a whole Postal package. Postal games, Postal T-shirts. It was great. I mean, I never heard from any of the justices, but, I'm glad to say that Postal was part of winning the First Amendment case in the Supreme Court of the United States.
Right.
That's one of the greatest. I mean, considering that we were banned, considering that I was sued by the government, I had the FBI up my ass, I mean, that's just a great turn of events.
It's like the most heartwarming story I've ever heard involving a video game, especially something with Postal,
Yeah, well, that began with the Postmaster General. He wrote me some crazy letter. I mean, and the truth of the matter is, back then when we started all of this, I had no idea. The last thing I was thinking of was the post office. We were simply thinking of having fun, make a game. The first game was very easy to play, and just shoot and go crazy. That was the whole idea. I mean, just take it, have fun. None of this sophisticated BS. People say, what's the story? What's the motivation? The motivation? What are you kidding me? The motivation? This is a video game. Pick up the damn joystick and blast. What the frig is going on? Nah, it's crazy.
Well, needless to say, Postal's still striving. I'm pretty sure you guys, getting plenty of sales still, especially with the new expansion packs. And, and I actually started playing them, and, it's just as good as I played it back when I was 12 years old.
Yeah. One of the things I'm very proud of is our fans. We have very loyal fans for many years, but also there's many new fans. I've got people writing me saying, hey, I got my 6-year-old son and I'm letting him play Postal. Okay, so this is like going second generation already. And the thing is that the game was always designed to be fun. It was never some massive story that you have to figure out, or none of that crap. This is all about you could pick up and start playing and have fun. That's to me was always the real most important element of any game. And really, like you just said, people, they haven't played in 5 years, 10 years, and they're like, holy shit, I love this when I was a kid, and here I am. It's still great. And look, we support, last year, whatever, we came out with Paradise Lost, which was DLC for Postal 2. That's 12 years ago. And we just 2 months ago, we released Postal Redux, which was a remake, a total remake of the original Postal. But we love doing this. It's fun to do it. And the key really is we do have unbelievable fans, and they give us the love, and we give it back to them in the form of more content.
Right.
That's the best thing I could do.
Yeah, and it's easily the best thing to do in general, you know what I mean? It's just...
Absolutely.
you know, you got to give people what they want, you know.
Listen, people want crotchy, they get crotchy.
Right, exactly.
You know, I mean, you know, people love Champ. God rest his soul. He did pass away. That was, I mean, a lot of people probably don't notice, but a lot of the things that are in the original Postal or even Postal 2 are based on reality. You know, the office in Postal 2. I mean, although Mike J's office was in the bathroom, in real life, look at him. He's laying over here like he's at the beach. In real life, he actually had an office. But in the game, that was his decision. He said, I think I want my office in the toilet. So, I mean, but that's the humor that we bring to it.
Right. And at this point, is there any way we can contact you guys besides, you know, your Facebook, your Twitter?
Yeah, I mean, look, if anybody wants to write to me personally, and I love writing back to fans, my email's real quick. It's Vince, VINCE, at gopostal.com. Go to our website, gopostal.com. We got all kinds of crazy stuff there. And then you guys will let me know where, and we'll post this interview.
Oh, nice.
Absolutely. Right. Thank you so much.
Not
I really appreciate it.
So this is Vince from Running with Scissors. This is Ezekiel Garcia, guffandstuff.net. You guys take care.
Thank you. Take care. All the best.
Guffandstuff.net